gentlemen, welcome back. We've got social media extraordinaire Brandon Mims. Brandon, brother, how you doing?
Now I always look into the premium usernames because that is really searchable. I do everything myself, create my own content. I post every single day, mainly reels.
And that's where you see the most growth, of course. Let's say you're doing a $100,000 deal. How is that transacting?
You get people engaging with your content. There's no reason you can't start right now with your phone and creating content.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to take a quick break from our show to say a massive thank you and a big shout out to one of our amazing sponsors, Dave DiStefano. Dave is a mortgage broker with over 13 years in the business, and Dave has a great rapport with a network of lenders, including big banks, credit unions, trust companies, financial institutions, and private funds. He will work on your behalf to help you find the best mortgage with the most agreeable terms and the lowest interest rate. After meeting Dave many times and having great discussions with him, he provides a level of confidence and comfort in knowing that he is going to take care of you. If you want to reach out to Dave, you can find his office on 6293 Thoroldstone Road in Niagara Falls. For more information or to make an appointment for any of your mortgage needs, call 905-933-1090. That's 905-933-1090. And thanks for listening. Back to the show.
What's going on, Meeting Gold listeners? It's Chris Battaglia, 416 Coffee. Use the coupon code Meeting Gold to get 10% off your first order at 416 Coffee. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We've got another episode for you with social media extraordinaire Brandon Mims. Brandon, brother, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You're a pretty mellow guy, and for the things that you do and that you're doing and the things that you've done, it's really impressive, I must say. Brandon is the social media extraordinaire that you would never expect to be a social media extraordinaire, but his knowledge on social media, impressions, engagement, organically and paid, is out of this world. Brandon, how'd you get started, man?
This is always a trick question for me right from the get-go, but I've been in the social media world for over 13 years now. Started in the Twitter world, and I was like grade 11. And it was with a personal page. Started posting funny, relatable posts, and I started growing a following. And I got it up to like 20, 30,000 followers just from doing that. And then back then I was kind of getting, chirped a little bit of like posting stuff and growing and that. So back then I didn't think it got to me, but now looking back, it kind of like got to me a little bit. So I ended up creating a meme page, and back then that was my girlfriend, now wife's image that I pretended to be in that, and started growing a page with her. And then that's where it blew up to like 1.5 million followers.
And that's where that interest originally started.
Yeah.
Did that, people making fun of you in high school, that kind of thing, did that manifest want and drive to do this for the long haul?
Definitely. I knew there was money, or back then I didn't know there was money into it, but I enjoyed doing it, and it was more so like a passion that grew into it. And then I ended up putting my email in the meme page and started getting emails of people buying ad spots. Like my first ad spot, I think I had like 250,000 followers when it first came, and they offered me $20 to post something about their store or something like that. And I was like, freak, this is sick. Like I took $20 back then. I should have charged a lot more, but I had no idea. And then, it just kind of grew from there.
So what kind of impressions did you get on that early stages? Because to grow it that big at that young, are you even looked at in high school at that point? Like, oh, this guy's really cool because he's like built up this really big page and...
Not so much. It started growing a lot bigger in like first year of college. And that's when it started getting really big. And then people are starting to notice and starting seeing the advertisements and the brands that I was working with then, that they're like, okay, there's something here for sure.
Right. Did you, like my question always goes to like, what happened with that? Because like, is that still going on right now, that meme page?
Oh no, I've completely out of the Twitter world, sold everything, but it was my first page and last page that I sold.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to immediately touch on, and that's kind of my interest in bringing you on, and also what people don't understand. This is a whole industry.
It's digital
Every time
real estate.
every time I tell people, hey, I know this guy that like does the social media stuff, and he'll like actually sell ads on Instagram. They're like, wait, what? Nobody knows this is an industry, but it's one of the most profitable industries you can be in. But we were just talking before camera, it's also one of the riskiest. So what happened with that meme page? You sold it after a couple of years, built it up, just sold it, or what?
Yeah, I actually sold it like 4 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, so I've had it for like 9 years and built it up. And yeah, so basically with that meme page, when it started growing, I thought of an idea because people are reaching out to me trying to buy ad spots. And then it got to a point where people wanted to do ad spots at like 10 o'clock at night or like 3 a.m. and stuff like that. So I hooked up with a developer, app developer, and from Paris, France, and we built a company called Tweet Enterprise. And
Tweet Enterprise.
Yeah, and so that was my first like business within the business, and what it was completely all automated. So you connect your account to the page, and then you advertise the link, and then people will go on and they can pick what time they want to post, and they can post instantly whatever they want to post, and it'll be automatic, and then the payment would be automatic as well. So I'd receive payments at like all hours through the night, and then I got it to a point where I was starting adding other big pages, and I had like over 500 pages on this website that were all selling ads.
Now, did you think at the time that this was a viable business option? Like, because this is brand new. This what the digital world at that time, right? That was a few years ago. It wasn't what it is now.
No, definitely not. But no, it's. Yeah.
Did you think that it could have been a full-fledged business, that you could have bought a house off of this, or?
Definitely
Yeah.
with that Tweet Enterprise, I could definitely buy a house with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. So now you own, I'm not going to say them for you, but talk about the tags that you own on social media right now.
Yeah, so basically that was in the Twitter world, and then I got out of the Twitter world, and then I got more into Instagram. So on Instagram, I've owned multiple different pages in the Instagram world, but some of the ones that I currently own is at USA. So I own the country on Instagram. And crazy opportunities with that. I own Santa Claus. I own at Shoes, Outfits. Mental health. I'm trying to think what else I got.
Those are the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, and I don't think many people understand when they're on social media and they see, at BR Betting or at Dogs. They don't think that there's like a person, but like your mind doesn't go to, there's a person behind this posting this, like right away. I mean, you might think about it, but when you're scrolling through Instagram, you don't think about that, right? The world behind just the consumer scrolling on Instagram, how do you, as I guess the boss, make it a monetized platform? Is it just ad spots?
There's multiple ways that you can go. So, for example, with mental health, right? I get tons of people reaching out for advertisements to post on the page. So you can go that route. I'm getting into like the merchandise, so the physical products. I'm also looking into, I don't want to say courses, but like an online membership platform that the community can join and be involved with other people around the world, but also have an educational base. So tons of different videos about different aspects of mental health and how you can, help yourself and kind of guide you in the right way without going to a therapist.
Right. Yeah, it's you play a big influence in that. You play a big influence at USA, at Santa, especially right now at the time that we're filming this. It's coming to Christmas. What are the impressions like right now and just the engagement on Santa Claus?
Santa Claus, I think it's at 200 195,000 followers now. Wow. And that's all organic, no paid ads, no nothing. It's literally just from owning the handle and being active. And right now, every post is getting easily 150,000 impressions organically.
Wow. And you don't even, it's not like it's your one full-time thing. Like it's one of 6 accounts, right? So it just goes to show the power in the brand name, right? So before we get into, the future things that you can do with the tags and some stories that you've gone through, I do want to discuss what was the aha moment of like, this is going to be my full-time thing.
Probably back in the Twitter world.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back in the Twitter world when I started getting like the first couple of ad spots coming in and stuff like that. And then I built out Tweet Enterprise. But I had about 200 different Twitter pages at the point. And then I started getting brands reaching out to me wanting to purchase my audience. So purchase, write out the whole account type thing. So like,
they actually buy the account.
Yeah. So the one example I always tell people is, it was college football. I don't know if it was like the college football organization or it was like college football for like betting type thing. But they came along and they wanted like 30 of my pages, and they came along and all the page, like they had certain requirements, like all of them had to be over 100,000 followers. They had to be top USA audience, preferably top male audience as well. And they came along and they bought 30 pages from me all at once. And then I'm like, this is this is definitely where I can, turn this into a full-time thing and build out audience, like get into different brands or like niches and such, and then build out audience, and then either sell it to other people within the social media world, the underground world that I always call it, or other brands that don't know how to build their audience up, so they buy a page like mine and then they turn it into what they want it to be.
I see. So they'll just jump right into it when they have the capital to do it.
Yeah.
So you're the guy that takes the time, is patient, and builds the accounts to the point where they can be sold. So it's really no different. You're building a business and then selling it.
Yep.
But here's where it gets risky, and I want to talk about it. You're building a business with no incorporated documents, with no nothing that a incorporated like Apple would be. It's very I'm trying to use my words wisely here, but loose ended. Like there's a lot of loose ends, and you got to make sure that you have them all tied up. So what is it like exiting a page?
Every transaction that I've done has been different slightly. So it all depends on the buyer. So I've been in situations where we had lawyers involved, which is totally fine with me. We'll have like contracts, everything, legal documents, all that. When you're selling within like other people in the social media world, there's a few middlemen that help like escrow deals and such like that for a fee, but obviously the safer on both ends as well. So it all depends on who's buying the page and what's going on.
Right.
So
what's we don't have to talk about the details, but I know that you recently sold a page that you had built up to over 1 million followers and done really well with it. The engagement was incredible, and you were really smart with the way that you built it. What was the growth process like with that? And first of all, how long did it take you? And how do you think the brand name of that tag plays a role in the growth of the account?
Yeah, so I can't say the username, obviously, but the username was a clean 5-letter username. It was in the travel industry. So it was on a brand new, fresh page, 0 followers, and it took me a year to grow it to 1.2 million followers.
That's incredible. I don't know how. I don't know how somebody just goes about and does that. Like, I think that's the first part where we have to break down.
Sure. So for me, now I always look into the premium usernames because that is really searchable on even Google, but within Instagram as well. So if you search up, this is not the username I had, but at travel, for example, that travel will pop up. We're the first one that pops up, and so most people will go to that.
Right.
So it's like kind of like a hashtag per se.
I see, but like a really valuable hashtag. Yeah.
So, but to build it up, the building up process, I put a lot of time into it. I do everything myself. I source all the content, or I create my own content. I post every single day, mainly reels on Instagram. And then I do engagement. I answer every single comment, even older posts. I'll go through and I'll still answer comments. I'll go outreach and find other people in the niche and start engaging on their stuff. Because I had the premium username, I was getting thousands of tags a day, like people tagging me on their posts, and I go and engage on them, which generates followers and engagements on my own page. Because Instagram, you can't just post and then throw the app away. You have to. They want you to stay on the platform. So the longer that you're on the platform and the more engaging you are, the higher chance that your content can go viral. So the first hour is like crucial. You have to be like literally sitting there engaging, answering comments and like trying to push out your content. Because within that first hour, that's where Instagram will be like, okay, we can push this out to further within their audience and have the potential to go on the explore page.
And that's where you see the most growth, of course.
Yeah.
So when you started, you said 0 followers. You actually told me that you didn't even buy this one. You actually saw that it was available.
Yeah, so there's like certain requirements to get. If a page is in, I have a really good connection. I have multiple like friends within Instagram and Facebook and that. So you can get usernames released to you, but it has to meet like certain requirements. So it has to be like inactive for like 4 or 5 years. And that inactive doesn't mean just not posting. It has to be like no one actively logging into the page as well.
Really? Oh, so it has to be dead.
Yeah, it has to be dead, like owner lost access to it or whatever the case may be. And then there's a whole bunch of other requirements to be able to get it. But so I got it released to me because I think the last post was like 2010.
Yeah.
So it was like super dead. And then so I was able to get it for myself. And then from there, I
able to grow it.
Yeah.
Do you create content calendars, plans, or anything around that? Or are you just like a one-man show that just, you know what you want, you do it?
I'm a one-man show, and I know what's working and what's not working on each platform, and then I go from there.
So how much research do you do when you're creating this kind of content? Because I'm just thinking about somebody who has their own page, you know. I mean, a personal brand I think is a little harder to build because, like, Brandon Mims isn't going to be as popular as, you know, we were using an example, travel, right?
Yeah.
Like, it just won't be, right? Nobody's going to tag unless somebody wants to tag Brandon Mims in a post, that's fine. But So my question then is, when you start, you said you don't really use content calendars. You don't really do social media planning or do you do scheduling? Like, do you schedule or it's all manual?
All manual.
Okay, so this is an argument that I've had a lot, is do we schedule or do we keep manual for our account? And I have said manual, but I don't really know why I say manual. I think I know you post manual and I'm like, I gotta do what Brandon does. But why is manual important for you? And why do you feel you have to do it? You can't hire somebody to do it.
Manual, I do manual, never automated. You can get disabled on multiple platforms for being automated. So they want you to, like I said before, they want you actually on the app and being present on the app. They don't want you to be posting through a scheduler. So it's just, if you're going on there, you're typing in the caption, you're spending time on the app, that you'll have it's proven that your engagements will be higher than you just scheduling the post.
So when you do your post, some of the things that you do is you'll comment, you'll engage. How long do you do that after you post, especially when you only have, like, let's say like 100 followers or something like that? Like, what can you really do?
Well, if you have like 100 followers, you got to try and get people engaging with your content, right? So, for example, with you go on Instagram right now. Are everyone that you follow, do you like and comment?
No.
No, right? You skip. So you're technically bringing down their potential of going viral, or how, like you're kind of like a dead follower to that person, right? So you got to go on other people's pages and start engaging with them, because then it's kind of like a trade-off, because if they see you're engaging with them, and they might not do it right away, but after the third or fourth time, then they start, liking and commenting on your stuff, and then you kind of.
Interesting. So you need to be active, like Sam Yelly or Brandon Mims needs to be active on their accounts, liking, commenting, engaging, because the same will come back to you. It's like karma, right? Same idea. Yeah. So, okay, we don't have to get into the specifics of this, but selling a tag, what are we talking, like $5,000? Or are we talking like $1 million?
It's all over the map. If you own a premium username, in the end, you have a control of how much you want to sell it for. Right. So there's different. It's kind of hard to explain, but there's different levels. So every niche, even if it's just a niche page and not having like a premium username, but every niche has like a different premium to it. Right. So like right now, it's getting really popular is like F1 racing or home decor, stuff like those type of pages. Those are becoming a premium right now. So even if you don't have a premium username, you're paying a premium price. And then then it gets into like the nitty gritty of like, if you have the original email that created the Instagram page, for example, and you're willing to sell that with it, then you can bring that adds tons of value to the page. So if you don't get the original email that created it, whoever has the original email can technically hit Instagram up and say like, hey, my page has been hacked, and they go through a process and they could potentially get it back.
Okay, so this is what I want to get into. You could make $5,000, $100, 100,000. You could make $1 million, 500,000. So the scariest part to me is it's still at the end of the day an Instagram account, a Facebook account, and it's in the control of the beholder, and the beholder is Facebook at the end of the day, like no matter what. When somebody buys, or when you, if you bought a page for like 20, 30 grand, right? And you got a tag that's like kind of not known, but you're planning on building it up. Are you not worried about getting it getting banned? Or, I mean, that's literally like, imagine you spent 50 grand on a page and it's banned. Like, what do you do?
So I had to go through a learning experience with this, obviously. But now, I guess what I can say in the beginning part is I've been involved with over 500 different transactions.
Really?
So,
wow.
So I now know, so being involved, that's either me owning the page and selling it to someone, or me being a middleman and helping brokering a deal, or if, I have I've had tons of clients come to me trying to buy audience and they're niched, for example, and I help them find the page, I help them middleman the deal, and I make sure everything is clean. So I'm very now experienced in that space, but some of the things you look for is obviously the original email. That's key. Another thing is you can look into, in the settings of Instagram, there's account health section where you can see if there's been any strikes or violations or anything that goes against the terms. And if that's clear, then there shouldn't really be anything about getting disabled or banned or anything like that. Then there's also taking other people's content, right? So you can get copyrighted. So you got to go through the person's content and seeing which ones they've actually outreached and used and stuff like that. So there's tons of different ways that things could happen to your account, but these are things you got to look for at the beginning before you actually purchase the page.
Right. So the risk is high, but the reward could be even higher.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
the risk is low if you know what you're looking for.
If you know what you're looking for, and you know who you can trust.
Yeah.
When you said you have relationships inside the Facebook and because Instagram is Facebook.
Yep.
Those relationships, how much do they actually help you with being able to find out like, because I'm trying to think, oh, can I go buy at Sam? How would I go about doing that? You know, like I know you have connections inside,
Yep.
but what are you like asking people? Oh, I want, I want at Canada. Like, how do you go, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you find out if that's available or not?
Well, I mean, if you go on the page and see if it's active or not.
Right. But if it is active and you want to buy it because you think you can do better.
Most of the time, bigger pages like at Canada, for example, they would have like their DMs would be open, so you can start like reaching out that way or email and stuff like that. But someone like me that's within the community, like my one group chat, I think there's about 2,500 of us, and like all of us have each own at least 10 million followers on Instagram alone, right? So we know it's either someone within the community that owns the page, or already a brand or company owns the page, or we know someone that owns it that's not part of the community.
Wow. So it's a whole community in a back end.
Yep.
How do you get involved in a group chat like that, in a community like that? Like, are those things developed already, or did that develop just over the last few years?
So there used to be an app called Flipmass. So that app used to be like buying and selling for social media.
Really? Like accounts?
Accounts, yeah. It was someone within the community that created it. And he was like the original middleman back in the day. Like this is like 10 years ago. But now that's transferred over into a Telegram group. So now everything is being advertised in this Telegram group. But to get in the Telegram group, you have to get approved.
I see. What does the approval process look like?
I don't know anymore. It's not easy. It was like I was adopted in. I was already part of the community, so I got in.
Right.
But for someone new getting in, it's definitely very difficult because one, you got to have, you either got to, if you're a buyer, you got to show proof of funds, and then you got to be using one of the middlemans that are approved within the community. If you're a seller, then you have to be, it's like a lot of requirements and personal information that you have to give to. Yeah.
So how like transaction wise, let's say you're doing $100,000 deal. How is that transacted? Is that, and what is it transacted with?
Like payment wise?
Yeah.
It all comes down to the seller, what they want to receive, but majority of deals that are happening in the social media world right now is crypto.
Why?
It's the safest way. So once that money's sent and it's in your wallet, there's no way that someone can open up a dispute or anything like that to get the money back.
Because it's not regulated by the government per se, so it's not as, like, I guess, because like the CRA would look at it and be like, what's going on here? Because it's very like is it as under the table as what it is or no?
No, a lot of people, put it on their taxes.
Yeah, like obviously you have to, right? Yeah.
You definitely have to, but
it's not like, I'm not saying it's an illegal market.
It's more so
but
like, for example, PayPal. PayPal used to be like the most popular one, and with PayPal, you can open up a dispute. So someone from 6 months from now, so you can do a deal with someone, and 6 months later they can just open up a dispute and potentially get the money back.
I see.
So that's why it's either bank wire. I do a lot of bank wires because then it goes right to my account type thing. But a lot of people do crypto.
And the contract side of it, I'm always so curious when I ask you these questions. I'm kind of jumping around because when you sell an account, you give up full rights to that.
Yep.
So if the owner gets it banned the next day,
it's not
your fault.
It's not
and
my
they
fault.
could have paid $500,000 for it.
Yep. Yep. Once it's officially in the middleman's hands, and I got the payment, and the middleman gives it over to them, and they have full access, and they say they have full access, that's it. Like, transaction's complete.
And a lot of it's digital.
Yep.
So what do I give you the password first, and then I expect you to send me $500,000?
Well, that's why I use a middleman system type thing. But someone like me that's like really well known in the community, I always get the payment up first. Like, people are willing to not use a middleman, send me the payment, and then I send them all the information that's needed type thing.
And then they change the password.
Yeah. So it's usually you give them access to the email, And then once the email is fully secured, then they technically hold all the rights to the email and the Instagram page, and then they change.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you've said you've done over 500 transactions.
Yep.
What are some of the transactions that come to mind the most? Can you talk about that or not so much?
As in like biggest transaction that I
You could do
personally
biggest, or you could do any transaction stories.
The story that I said earlier with like the college football with like the 30 pages.
30 pages.
That was like pretty big. My biggest transaction that I've done personally was April of this year. That was for the same travel page that we were talking about. I sold that for in the six figures. Wow. American.
American.
Yeah. Paid off my house.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And I mean, the lifestyle that you live, and we'll get into that too, but the lifestyle that you live, very travel, and I envy it, but you can do it because your whole business is on your phone.
Yep.
So a year ago, when you were building this travel page, do you specifically look for a niche when you're building that page? Like, I need to build in the travel niche. I'm going to find a tag inside that niche.
Yeah, so I've been in all types of niches. So I test out every niche. On Twitter, I literally had a makeup page. And I was telling girls how to do makeup tutorials. And I had no idea what I was doing or what any of this stuff was called. And I was working with like Sephora for like ads and stuff like that. And they had no idea I was a female and stuff like that. So it's funny. But in the travel niche, I'm passionate in the travel. I've done tons of travel myself, and I wanted to start definitely with like COVID and stuff like that when we weren't allowed to leave. Leave our houses and such. That's when I started building up this travel page, and I wanted to start traveling again. So I had like, maybe 6 months of time to like build it up, and then I was able to actually use it for free travel. So I think my first travel was like Atlantis in Bahamas.
I see. So did you get a lot of free trips and stuff out of that?
I got a lot of free trips.
Really?
And like premium, like I stayed at like the Fairmount in Maldives, which was like 10 grand American a night. And when they gave us two villas. So it was 10 grand. So and it was like 4 nights. So we stayed there. It was like 80 grand American, all free. And then they gave us like all the food was covered, massages. We went like scuba diving with like sharks and stuff like that. They had like a boat tour and all this type of stuff. So like went to like Maldives, Dubai, London, England, Rome, Italy.
All because
just because of the
started a travel niche account.
And I got it to a point. So I was working with all these brands for free, like exchange for content.
But obviously for free, meaning you get a $100,000 trip.
Yeah. And exchange to be posted on this big page and my personal pages, like mine and my wife's pages were part of the deal as well. And then as I started showing off these big companies that I was working with, I started getting outreach for other hotel brands willing to pay for me to come down there and pay for my flights and pay for everything just to be advertised on the page as well.
Right.
So it's definitely a huge business in that sense.
And did you envision that when you started it?
That was the goal, yeah.
That was the goal. And you accomplished the goal.
I accomplished the goal.
And then you sold it.
And then a company came and they previously purchased a few other travel pages from me. So I've already had like an open relationship with them. And then I sold them this page at a price that I obviously couldn't say no.
Yeah. I think that's typically how the deals go. It's like, okay, you want to offer this much? So, and especially because it was one of the largest pages in its niche.
It was in the top 5.
Yeah, that's impressive.
And the other like 4 pages that were in the niche have been there since like 8+ years. So I came in within a year.
So as the digital, like as people start to get, as this, like what the industry that you're in starts to get more saturated, do you still feel that there's the ability to make money doing it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Even with all these different accounts, like Dog's already made. Santa Claus is already owned, right?
This guy.
Yeah, USA's owned. Like, and I guess some of the stories that you've told me, the people who buy this, like I can already hear people listening right now saying, well, why would somebody even buy that? Like, it makes no sense. But it makes sense to me and it makes sense to you. So go into that a little bit. Like, why would somebody buy at USA?
So I'm trying to think of a better username to use.
Okay.
Let's go with Niagara Falls. I own at Niagara Falls on Instagram.
Yep.
Right. Obviously, there's tons of tourism in Niagara Falls and I own the biggest audience on Instagram for Niagara Falls, and I literally post once a week. I don't even put it in the effort as much as I should be, and it's got like 80-something thousand followers on it, all organic. The engagements is unreal and stuff like that. So the reason why I said Niagara Falls is I helped a realtor in the States, in the Florida area. I told him, let's buy a Florida-related page, big following type thing, right? So he's like a realtor, owns like a real estate agency. They do like management properties and all that type of stuff as well. And what I told him to do, buy the audience. So we found one with like 500,000 followers, Florida-related page, and that. I said, okay, let's keep the same content that's being posted, keep the engagement up high, but now you own the audience now. You can do whatever you want. You can start promoting your houses that you're listing on there,
and then use it as a listing presentation to a seller, saying, "Hey, this is the reach that we have," and the impressions on a page with a 500,000 followers would be insane.
Yeah, and it's all organic, and you don't have to pay Instagram ads, Facebook ads, SEO ads, any of that. So it's all organic. You own the audience, but they also own like real estate, I'm trying to think of the word, I forget it now, but like properties that have like house or like coffee shops and stuff like that.
Oh, plazas and stuff.
Yeah, like plazas and stuff, and like they own like grocery stores and stuff. Now they're doing like promotions for their grocery store that they own within the city, and saying like, if you show this post on the thing, your whole grocery order will be like 10% off. Or like they own a coffee shop, and now they said, you want to get a free coffee? Show this post. And now people are sharing and liking and commenting and getting more followers and engagement on there, and they're driving people to their coffee shop.
So is this the new wave of marketing?
I've been helping people by like, I was like heavily involved with like Mark Cuban's team, and he was doing the same thing. So he was buying up, I was helping him like get usernames and like buying pages with like in the sports niche. They got into like crypto and NFT space as well. So I was helping them in all those industries, buying audience in those industries and then building them up.
Buying influence. Okay.
And it's all organic.
So there's a really quick, interesting point. Eric Conover, I interviewed him in New York with Drone Hub Media, and the engagement that he gets, I'm agreeing with you here, the engagement that he gets is like insane. I think he got like 60.
He used to be like a travel.
Travel guy for real estate. And he'll go around a home, post a flippin' 60-second tour reel with his voice talking about the property. Yeah. It'll get 3-4 million views. Bailey told me that because of one of his videos, a house actually sold, and it was like a multi-million-dollar property.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling, the influence. Now, my next question is, because I always play devil's advocate to this, is it okay that people can just buy influence? Because now the people with money in the world also own influence to influence regular, everyday people who don't have $1 million to spend on a page.
I mean, if you use it for the right reasons, right? But like for a realtor in Niagara Falls, for example, I don't think a big corporation is going to come and try and buy at Niagara Falls, for example, but they can come in and buy Niagara Falls and own that influence.
Ad space is everywhere, man. Ads are everywhere, whether you know it or not.
It's literally the best way to do it. Like I've been helping a lot of people get like destination related, like in the real estate space, like destination related pages, and then helping them continue the same engagement and continuing keeping the original content that it was previous posting, and then just slowly integrating their stuff.
Yeah, I feel like the cost though is so high to do it. Like you gotta have, like you were saying, that this realtor that you're talking about, like obviously they probably do really well if they have like a real estate brokerage that they own and a whole team. You know, this guy's probably looking at what he can do with $100,000 for his marketing spend for the year, or if he has to double down and pull out $300,000 to buy a page and put it towards content. It'll pay off in the long run, but it's that initial capital investment that's
but
that's
then
a lot.
you start looking into how much you're paying to boost your Instagram reach.
And all the marketing that you put behind homes, all the magazine ads that you pay for, all this kind of stuff, you could just intertwine it with one.
Yep. It's literally the new wave right now, and I've been helping a lot of individuals and companies get into that wave because, like I said, I've done over 500 transactions now. So I know exactly what to look for. I know all like the risks and the reward type thing.
The things to look out for.
Yep. And
right.
I help people basically get the audience that they need.
So what is the future for you? Is this when I turn 70, I'm good? Because initially, like from a finance perspective, you've hit some big runs, right?
Yep.
If you're not stupid, I know you're smart with your money, so you'll be fine. But this isn't like a lucrative business. This is like I sell a house, like a $10 million house and get a 15% commission or 10% commission, whatever it is, right? And then I don't make any money for a year and a half, 2 years. Is that what it is?
So for the longest time, I was selling advertisement space on my pages. So that's how I was mainly generating
That's
income,
a little bit more lucrative,
right?
yeah.
Now, like I used to own over 50 million followers on Instagram alone, right? So I've sold a lot of those pages. Now I'm about 10 million, which is still pretty big.
Still pretty big.
Pretty big influence to have, but I'm slowly getting into super neat, like trying to get really niche down into my own like personal pages that I have, and only have a select few, and then build out brands, like full blown media brands with those pages there. So that's kind of like my long term there.
To just keep developing it.
Yeah, keep developing. Social media is not going anywhere.
Yeah,
Instagram, Facebook, like I laugh at the people that say like, oh, Instagram's like dying and all that type of stuff. And it's like, it's this thing. It's Facebook owns it. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
they're not going anywhere. And it's like, yes, I understand TikTok is like huge right now and stuff like that.
But you know what's interesting? When Instagram switched to the TikTok for like 2 days, remember they made that update? They switched to like the flick where you can't choose the content that you see. People on Instagram hated it. They like Instagram for what Instagram is and like TikTok for what TikTok is.
Yeah, but they have to start competing with TikTok, obviously, and video content is a must, like on all platforms.
So can I ask you this? I need a bit of advice. We have posted 3 times a day, 7 days a week for the last like year and a half. We don't even have 1,000 followers on Meeting Gold. Is it mainly because we haven't engaged? Because that's the one thing that I don't do.
For TikTok?
For Instagram. TikTok, we're fine.
Okay. So, yeah, for Instagram, you got to be on the platform. And so it's like, you have to, like I said previous, like you have to be on the platform as much time as possible, but also you have to, every time there's a new feature that comes out, you have to play around with that new feature. And Reels is really big and still really big, but also doing like the carousel slider posts. Like you got to keep switching it up. You can't just be always Reels or always carousel posts. You have to be switching it up. But I would stay away from like the long, like not long form videos, but like normal videos, like that type of content, and single photos. So just strictly for Instagram, just Reels and carousel posts.
Reels and carousel posts.
Yeah.
Noted. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's going to help out a lot.
And like for me, I post bright and early.
Oh, really?
All my pages, like between 6 to 7. Yeah, all my pages will be posted on.
So then, is that the engagement's the highest at that point, or like people are waking up?
So with a lot of my pages, I have audience around the world type thing. So posting at 6, for example, someone waking up, the first thing they do is to grab their phone. Most of the time, they'll go through their text messages, emails, and that, but they always land on Instagram. They go on through Instagram. You're the newest post. So then that first hour, you're getting tons of engagement because people are waking up and engaging. And then when people other people, when they start waking up at, 8, 9 o'clock, then the engagement continues.
I see. So
No
it's
one
more
else
of like,
is, because if you look at like a company, like someone that's running a social media page for a company or anything like that, their job starts at 9. So by the time they get in, they're going to post at 10.
Right. Do you ever feel like, because we've had this conversation, you do it all yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it not exhausting?
I've been doing it for so long that it's kind of built in the routine, and like I've got it down pat now that like I can post on like 20 pages in an hour with engagements.
With engagements.
Yeah. But some pages I'll put in more engagements, like
Mental health, you'll do a lot more. Yeah.
Like mental health, I'll probably spend like 3 hours a day on. Answering DMs, engaging, commenting, people sharing my posts on like stories and that. You get like a notification, and I click on all those, and I go and I personally like and comment on their stuff as well for sharing on the stories.
What's incredible to me is I can sit here with, and I'll open myself up, but to anybody listening, I know you're the same as me. You'll be like, oh, so much work to grind for that 1 or 2 extra followers. Same as business. But I don't think like that in business. I think like that in social media. But in business, oh, so much work to build this relationship with these 1 or 2 people. I want to hit it big right away. Like everybody wants to hit it big right away. Everybody wants to get that big deal, or they want 100 followers like that, like a viral post. It's not going to happen as often, not saying it can't, but it's not going to happen as often as it would grinding for that 1 or 2 followers every 2 minutes.
You got to build a genuine good community, people that actually like your content and want to engage with your content. So if you're only growing 1 to 2 followers a day, but you're engaging with those new followers every single day, it's going to continue to grow. And then like mental health, that was a page with 0 followers, right? I've now grown it to, I think, like 130. I think it's going to hit 135,000 today. And that's all organic growth, right? So that's me sitting there engaging. And then eventually those 2 followers a day will grow to 4 followers a day. And then it'll grow to 8 and then 16. And then it just keeps growing and growing. And then all of a sudden you get on the Explore page and your stuff is going viral. And then you gain 5,000 followers in one day. And then it kind of just snowballs and it keeps going. But you have to put in the work. You can't just...
You can't just let it sit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no excuses.
Yeah.
You know, like you've got to prioritize that time. And immediately I go to, some people might go to, I don't have enough time. Okay, then don't expect it to grow.
Yeah.
Like you have to make that time, right?
Or pay someone to do it for you.
Yeah. How come you haven't?
I know exactly what I'm doing, and it's kind of hard to
articulate it.
Yeah, to tell someone to do it. Because it's not hard work, it's just tedious work. And when I engage with people, I don't send them emoji. It's three words or more. That helps with their engagement, and then encourages them to want to comment three words or more on mine as well. So that's another thing too, another hack or something like that is on Instagram, TikTok, all platforms, 3 words or more posts on your content will take you, like, that will push it more into the algorithm than just like people sending you fire emojis.
Yeah, because that's not gonna boost anything.
It counts as a comment, like you'll see it as a comment, but it actually doesn't count in the system, in the back end for the algorithm.
So what are some of the things that you do to get on the Explore page?
Like I said, it's basically in the engagement side of it.
Oh, I see. So it's not necessarily targeted to the Explore page.
Yeah.
It's more targeted to your community.
And then they start out, like,
Let
they really
the
like the
community take
content.
it.
They start sharing it on their stories, or saving the post, or sending it to someone else in the DMs or something like that. That's where it starts getting. Instagram will take that up and be like, okay, this people are enjoying this content, and then they start putting it into new faces.
Right. So, okay, we've talked about Instagram. We've talked about Facebook. I mean, the same thing. Building a community is crucial. Building a community is important. That's what I'm getting out of this.
Yep.
If you don't take the time to build a community, you're not going to grow on social media.
Yep.
Next question would be then, where do you see other social media platforms developing over the course of a few years? Because I know real estate agents who, or companies who I've talked to about YouTube, right? And long form content, how that isn't going anywhere either, as much as people think it is.
Oh, no.
It's not, because there's that niche for that as well. So how do you see YouTube, I guess, developing? Because that would be like the next best social media, I would imagine, right? YouTube or TikTok, but that's very similar.
Honestly, I don't think TikTok's going to last.
You don't think so, eh?
They had a scare like a year ago that in the U.S. that they were going to permanently ban it. And then now that's back up again.
Really?
A week ago in the U.S., they're looking at potentially banning it as well.
Nick, you had told me some of the things that TikTok has access to, and this might be all social media platforms. What was it? Yeah, so Nick was telling me that, because I asked him, like, why don't you have TikTok? He's like, bro, like, do you know what they can see on there? He's like, they can see what you type, they can see the apps that you have, and everything like that. Is that a concern?
Huge concern.
Like,
yeah. It's huge. It's because it's a China-owned company type of thing, so they don't have the regulations as we do in North America type thing.
Is that why it's looking to get banned?
Yeah, like you don't even if you have the TikTok app open, but you're not even on it, it's just open in the back end. They can listen to everything that you say.
And the other thing too that Nick said was really scary was he told me in China they feed like the whole For You page,
educational stuff. Yeah, and then they feed here.
And then here it's all BS.
Yeah,
it's like girls dancing or guys posting thirst traps
or super confident like stuff that's like people will start going angry about like the left side or the right side, like super left, super right.
It's a mental warfare that China's putting on the North American society that it's actually like, I hate to say this, but it's from their side, it's like the smartest thing they can do. It's the long-term play. They're actually like mushing brains of the younger generation.
So, TikTok, like, it's actually like very organic and really good and stuff like that. But what I've been telling people is like, I truly don't believe it's going to last like 1 to 2 years. I think it's actually going to be banned in North America, if not less. And what I'm telling, if you have an audience on TikTok, I'd keep driving them to your YouTube channel or to like Instagram or what other channels that you can push them towards.
Yeah. What about, sorry to cut you off. Now I'm liking where we're going with this because I got heated about this with Nick. I was like, oh my God, like that's scary to hear. And then, you keep it open. They can literally listen to everything that you're saying.
Yeah.
So wonder why, I was talking about this the other day and then it came up on my page.
Yeah. Happens all the time. Yeah.
So the world of advertising, because that is scary. And on one end, you're involved with that. You're involved with building a page to sell it.
Yep.
So some rich guy can run the page and influence whoever follows that.
Yeah.
Not regulated by a governing body.
Yep.
Our country is becoming more of a, correct me if I'm wrong, but for the people than it is the government having control. As much as the government has control, I feel like at least like people with money have a lot of control as well with influence and power of influence.
Yep.
Would you agree?
Oh, definitely.
Do you think that's a problem?
Like I said previously, it's all depends on who gets access to that influence, right? Because there's definitely people out there that would do like influence for the good, and then there's definitely people out there that are trying to make a quick buck and trying to scam people for sure.
Yeah. So it's just based on who purchases it.
Yeah.
So real quick, because we've got about like 10 minutes left, the YouTube topic.
Yep.
I want to discuss that because I'm really interested in YouTube. I'm starting to look into it more, and it's kind of addicting, the really organic engagement and the small wins that you get from it. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, so I'm actually, a couple of weeks ago we talked about it, that I was getting back into the YouTube space. I don't think YouTube's going anywhere. I really like the shorts idea, and there's a reason why all content is, now vertical, like Reels, TikTok, even Facebook has Reels now. YouTube Shorts, they're all vertical. They're all filmed with your phone type thing. So it's easier now. It's like the easiest it's ever been to create content with your phone and to be able to upload it with no problems. But with YouTube, I think it's definitely the biggest, if not the second biggest, compared to Instagram, of platforms to definitely be into, especially in the 2023, 2024 type thing.
Mr. Beast said this on Joe Rogan's podcast. I believe he said it's better to post one really quality video a month than post once a week. That's not as good. Would you agree with that?
For YouTube, yeah.
Really? So like the longer form, post a super high quality video instead of posting. See, I feel like I disagree.
That's why they bring in the YouTube Shorts. That's where you can do.
That's where you can be top of mind.
You can do 3-4 posts a day if you really want to, 7 days a week, and being on top of that, and then posting your once a week long form video or once a month, whatever it is. I think that's why they mainly brought in the Shorts, also to keep up with Instagram and TikTok as well. But
because I guess, like, at the end of the day, if you make 4 videos that get 100 views each, but then you make one really good video that gets 400 views, it's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's no different.
Yeah, no.
I think, for me, the idea that I see as being top of mind, like on Instagram, we'll post as much as we do because I never want people to forget about our name. So every single time they're scrolling, they see Meeting Gold, whether they like, engage, comment, or not.
That's where you got to start getting people to engage.
So you're saying is less of top of mind, but more of engage.
All my pages, I do one post a day.
One post a day.
One post a day. I do one post a day, but then I drive people, I constantly post on the stories throughout the day. So pushing the stories up, like if you post on the stories every 4 hours, for example, that's pushing you right to the front again. And then if they click on your stories, you have a higher chance of them, if you share your reel or whatever on one of your stories, then they can click on there and get onto your reel. So you want to constantly get people to at least hit your profile, and then hopefully from there either gain a follower or gain a like or get a comment.
See, you're going against everything I've always thought, and it's making me frustrated. But at the same time, I have to listen because it's obviously working. So that's kind of where I struggle with that is I don't want to stop our 3 times a day. Like, I don't want to stop that.
Well, also, every niche is different, too. So a personal niche, you don't want to be posting 3 times a day. Like, once a day is probably
max.
And even at that, it would probably be
that's a
3
lot,
times a week type thing. But if you're like a business, I would only post, maybe 5 times a week. If that, you don't have to post every single day, but being active on your stories is definitely key. But I know Gary Vee comes out and says, for example, post on Instagram. See,
that's where, that's where my mind goes. I don't know what to do.
He has a big influence, and he can post as much as he wants, and people are going to sit there and engage and and comment no matter what, right? So if you're starting out, you don't want to flood. You don't want to flood people's timelines, right? You want to be noticed but not in their face, and be annoyed type thing.
I see what you're saying. So just good, better quality.
Yeah, quality over quantity.
On that, you're gonna leave me something to really think about when I go away next week to figure out what I wanna do for 2023. Because I never looked at it that way. I think I needed somebody to tell me that literally does it their whole life.
I hear tons of people tell me all their opinions.
Oh, you're wrong. Whatever. Yeah.
So I'm not saying you're wrong or you're right or anything like that. It's just, this is what I've been in the industry for 13 years. I've been in it for, a personal brand, but also for myself, but other personal brands, companies, organizations.
Well, and you see Chelsea, for anybody that doesn't know, Chelsea also posts, Brandon's wife posts on YouTube. Well, how many subs does she have now?
Getting close to 19,000.
Yeah, that's but she's got a great niche going, mom niche, and just really solid.
And her engagement is pretty good.
Yeah,
50% of them keep coming back to watch. You know what I mean?
That's impressive.
Every video gets over 10,000 views. So that shows even though her audience may be considered smaller to others, I know people that have over 100,000 subscribers and they're only getting 5,000 views.
So, last question. I got to ask this, though. Mr. Beast posts and the way what he posts. I mean, the guy spends. I think he said he spends like $5 million a video now. I think it is. It used to be like, or no, I think it was 1 and 2 million a video. Yeah. He said it used to be like $100,000 a video. When he posts, he said that like every freaking second and a half second something needs to happen. Do you agree with that when you're starting out? Like, can I build an audience without being Mr. Beast right away?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
You got to start somewhere, right? So, and a lot of things I tell people as well is like, you don't need, the best equipment or anything like that. You literally can film everything on a phone now. Like the newest iPhone literally has like, I don't know. The camera is really, really good, and then if you have proper lighting, which you can literally film outside, and you'll get the natural lighting. You can take really good content. Like majority of viral content that's on all these social media platforms are filmed on a phone. Right? So you can definitely, there's no reason you can't start right now with your phone and creating content and having the opportunity. And then eventually, when you get to like Mr. Beast level and you want to start putting more money into your video production, then obviously you can do that, but you don't have to do that right at the beginning.
I see what you're saying. Okay. So leaving me something to think about. Brandon, where can people find you? Hey, Brandon, I want to spend $100,000. I want you to middleman the deal. What do people want to reach out to you with?
On Instagram, it's just at Brandon Mims. I got the blue check mark, so it's
easy to find.
There's like 100 people trying to be me right now and and trying to scam people and such. So yeah, just
shout out Chelsea too and her YouTube channel because she's got a good thing going with the YouTube channel.
Yeah, her YouTube channel and Instagram is at Chelsea J with 3 L's. Yeah, she's also verified on YouTube and Instagram as well, so it's easier to find her.
Beautiful. Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. I hope we took a little bit more of an educational side. My brain wandered with curiosity, asking Brandon questions. Brandon, I've got one last thing for you. Every single time we bring a guest on, we ask them, do they have a question for the next guest? Well, the question that we had for our last guest for you was 2022 worth it?
2022 is definitely worth it for me. I've sold a lot of big pages like the travel page and stuff like that. And then I was able to take that money and, pay off
your home,
my house,
which is still insane. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was definitely worth it. And, worth it for me. I learned a lot of stuff, even though I've been in the space for so long. I've definitely learned a lot of new features and stuff, and made great connections with a lot of new people and stuff. So yeah, 2022 is definitely worthwhile for sure. But 2023 is definitely going to be my year.
I love it. I love how everybody says that, except I know you'll stick to it. What's your question for the next guest? I can't tell you who they are.
Right. That's hard.
I know, eh?
Just because I don't know the niche and all that type of stuff that they're in. But I guess for them is, are they creating content for themselves? And if not, why not?
Are they creating content for themselves? Yeah. I like that. That's a good one. It's a good challenge.
Everyone should have their own personal brand now, especially with like user-generated content is getting bigger and bigger now. Right. So you don't even need a following. So
especially like the personal brand side, there's so much you can do with it.
Oh yeah, you can work with any brand that you want that's in your niche.
Right. Well, guys, like I said, thank you for listening and watching. This was Brandon Mims, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Meeting Gold Show. Cheers.